Kids, listen to your mother.
Mom!
Welcome to Between Us Moms with Katie Crafts-Morg and Hallie Stevens-Drake.
Hey, mamas, and welcome to a brand new episode of Between Us Moms. Today's guest is someone every serious Swiftie probably already follows, or at least has seen pop up in their feed when major Taylor Swift news breaks. She is truly an expert on the ultimate mother, Taylor Swift. She's the creator of one of the biggest Swiftie accounts in the world, Swifties for Eternity, which has become one of the most passionate and positive corners of the internet for Swifties. And honestly, I have to admit something before we start this conversation. I am what you might call an OG elder Swiftie. I still remember where I was the very first time I heard Tim McGraw on the radio. What started as one teenage country singer has turned into a global phenomenon and an entire generation of fans who feel like they have grown up alongside her. Our guest today has a book about just that called The Story of Us: How the Taylor Swift Fandom Changed Our Lives. It's out April 14th, and it's literally a love letter to Taylor. Please welcome Olivia Levin to the podcast.
Wow, what an
Woo!
intro. Thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Every Swiftie listening is like cheering, so excited. We just kind of want to start at the beginning. For anyone who doesn't know you,
Yes.
what was the precise moment that you realized that Taylor wasn't just an artist you liked, but she was someone whose music actually shaped your life?
Great question. Well, I do go into this in chapter 1 of The Story of Us, but basically I would listen to her, when I was 8, 9 years old, and I loved her music, but at that point in my life I was more into like sports and playing with boys at recess and playing soccer, all that kind of stuff. And then at some point, I think around the age of like 13, something just
Fitting.
yeah, I know, right? It just like clicked. I don't know what happened. I truly can't even just begin to describe it. I remember sitting on a beach and I was with a friend and she was showing me a video of Taylor and I was like, I need to look more into her and her music. So that's what I did. I got home from that trip and I was like, okay, I'm going full Swiftie mode. And then I started learning about like Tumblr and how Taylor would like interact with the fans and everything. And I caught up on literally everything, every YouTube video you could possibly imagine, every song, every lyric. And then I started my Tumblr and Instagram accounts. Both are Swifties for Eternity. I have not used Tumblr since Taylor ditched it a few years ago. But Instagram is kind of my thing now. And yeah, it's been so fun watching it grow over the years, especially during the Eras tour, and just having that safe space community to fall back on every day and bring a little bit of joy into everyone's lives. It's been a true blessing.
I love that.
I know. I feel honored because I feel like I got one of the earliest copies
Yes,
of the
yes.
book. And one of my favorite things in it is that you say to Taylor, "Thank you for raising me. Through you, I stayed true to myself and never changed who I was for others." And I think so many Swifties feel like Taylor had that effect on their lives. Like she literally did help raise us, whether it be like through a lyric or a lesson that she taught us. And I'm curious for you, like what is, I guess, your takeaway from her in raising you?
I mean, I've looked up to her for so long and she has taught me so many lessons. There are times like I go through things in life and I'm like, okay, well, Taylor, faced adversity this way. So I'm going to make sure I try to do the same thing because it worked for her and she always comes out on the other side and kills it. And I want to do the same thing. So I think I also look up to her as like an entrepreneur, a businesswoman. I think she's just a genius and doesn't get enough credit from the general public on that. I know the Swifties know, but I think it's so cool that she's so unapologetically a smart killer businesswoman. And I think more women need to be like that. And I try to surround myself with people like that too. So I've learned so many lessons. There's a chapter on that too, the life lessons
Yep.
from Taylor Swift, and I think we can all really relate to that in one way or another. Someone might not look up to her as a businesswoman, but might look up to her as like, okay, that's how I should face hardship, or that's how like the best kind of revenge is success. It's not getting like true mean revenge. So we all have our own way of relating to her. I've learned endless lessons lessons. I tried to fit as many as I could think of in that chapter, but it's ongoing, and I think I'm learning stuff from her every day. Every time she comes out with an album, I'm like, that's a brilliant thing she said in the song, and it's so true. And she always comes up with like a new amazing quote that we love to repeat, like the trash takes itself out. Love that one. That's what
So good.
someone, does you dirty, karma will get them, and boom, you don't have to do anything about it yourself.
Yeah, I love that. I also love, speaking of trash, in Life of a Showgirl, like my brother calls it,
Yes,
eating out of the trash.
Oh,
so
yeah.
good. It's so good. It just gets better and better. It
She's a
really does.
comedian.
She
Yeah.
is. That's another thing she doesn't get enough credit for. She is so funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
You talked about when albums drop. Katie and I met each other working at Entertainment Tonight together. And anytime Taylor would drop an album, Katie was sent to Target to go get it and to kind of read through all the materials, gather all the things, kind of do all the investigative work. What does a day look like for you when Taylor is dropping an album?
It's changed over the years a lot. It used to be just like me and my mom at home listening, and diving into all the lyrics and stuff right away, and also going to Target. That was obviously we'd get up super early or like be there at midnight. So I mean Taylor kicked off that tradition, but over the years, like post Eras, during the Eras tour, post Eras tour, my album release days are so chaotic because I'm invited onto like news outlets to talk about the album. And so I'm so like excited about the album, but I'm also like, oh my God, I'm not gonna sleep tonight because I have to listen to the album several times. I have to know what she's saying and everything because once I wake up from my few hours of sleep, I'm gonna be asked about certain lyrics and certain things. And I'm like, I need to know the album inside and out by like 8 a.m. that morning. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what my album release days have looked like lately.
Yeah.
Do you
It's like,
miss the days when she would put hidden decoded messages in the album like sleeves? Because
Yes,
I
of
miss
course.
that.
Of course, of course. I was happy she did it again for like Fearless Taylor's version, brought that back a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that's just so nostalgic. I kind of wish she still did it. But I love that she always has like a nice prologue to the album. And I think it's like the Tortured Poets one. I love that one. It's so great. I mean,
Yeah.
mm,
You write about historic days in Swiftie history, speaking
mhm.
of like album releases. And there's just so many days when I think of like Taylor Swift that pop into my mind, whether it be like a music video drop or yeah, like an interview moment or her coming out of her apartment and looking like Tay Princess, like whatever it is.
Yeah.
What days haven't we had yet that you think are going to be historic in
Come
Taylor
on.
Swift
I
history?
think you know the
I
first
want to
one
hear
I'm
you
gonna
say
say. Yes, the wedding. I think the second we get wedding photos of Taylor and Travis, that's gonna instantly be added to the historic days pile. I also think, TS13, her 13th album, that's gonna be historic just because I think she's going to do the most for that album because it's the 13th. She is just that way. And then, she's gonna come up with another way to not redo the Eras tour, but I think she always finds a way to do something different and outdo something in a different way. She doesn't want to repeat things. So I think whatever genius idea she comes up with next for whatever tour it's going to be, whether it's a residency or world tour, whatever it is, I think she's going to think out of the box. And there are many, many more historic days to come. They're never ending. That's why in 2 more decades, I might have to write a part two to this book.
It's so true. I feel like whatever I think Taylor's going to do, she does something even bigger and better than my brain could even compute. I think
Yep.
that's what
yeah.
I respect about her
Yep.
so much is I'm like, oh, she's gonna do this. And then I'm like, whoa, wait, there's this and this level to it. And it's pretty incredible.
It
It's
really
hard for
is.
us to think the way she does. I feel like we try to predict what she's going to do, and she always thinks of something none of us thought of.
Yeah,
It's so
totally.
true.
Yeah.
We're already talking about a part two to your book, but talking about this book,
Yeah.
you focus, on how the fandom changes people's lives. What has surprised you the most while you were collecting stories from all these Swifties?
I can't say I was surprised by any of it because I already knew she changed everyone's lives in such, you know, distinctive ways. And I think a lot of them are similar, and it's so cool that she's able to change so many lives in the same way with people she doesn't even know, you know? I don't know if I would say I was surprised, but it was those quotes that I put in there like literally brought me to tears when I was writing them because I'm like I feel the same way, and it's so cool to see how many lives she like one person has touched.
Early on in the book, I think like the first chapter, you talk about meeting Taylor. You got
Yes.
invited to a secret session, which is like literally every Swifty's dream is to go to a secret session. I was also invited to meet Taylor Swift, not at a secret session, but backstage in the rep room at the Reputation tour. And her team is just the most incredible team on the planet.
They are.
What is something about Taylor that is hard to even explain or put into words when you're meeting her?
Gosh, her aura. I think everybody says it. Everyone who meets her is like, "Oh my God, her aura." But truly, and I try to tell a lot of people this when they ask about me meeting Taylor. I'm like, she is so normal. That I think that was the most surprising thing for me, and it's the hardest thing to put into words because she's so grand and everybody sees her all the time on social media, in the media, in the press, and all that. It's so hard to imagine how someone of that caliber could be so normal. But truly, when I was in that room with her, I was like, oh my God, she is just I think at the time she was like 26, 27. I was like, she is just a normal 20 something year old girl. Like, it's crazy to me that people are like, oh my God, who did she vote for? All this stuff when she's just a normal human like all of us who isn't like, she doesn't have superpowers as much as we like to, she's a
I think
genius.
she does a
I mean,
little
she
bit.
probably she got so she has some Tay voodoo there for sure, but it's just so crazy to me that everybody's like, "Oh my God, what is Taylor eating today?" You know, when she's just a normal person. And I think a lot of people forget that, and it's easy to when you see someone in the press all the time. It's really easy to forget that she's just a human being. So I think that was the biggest thing for me the day I met her. I was like, "Oh my God." That was the big realization I had because I was 17 and I had always looked up to her as like, she's not real, you know?
Right.
So I think that was the biggest thing for me that it's very hard to put into words until you just like have a normal conversation with her.
Totally.
What do you think she would be doing today if she wasn't famous?
Definitely something artsy, craftsy, maybe writing songs for other people in Nashville. I live in Nashville. I know there's a ton of people here that I know that write songs for other people and they're not famous, but they're kind of in the background. And I could totally see her doing that. Or writing poetry. I could see her being one of those influencers. I follow a ton of the poetry girls who write poetry and then post videos of them reading it. Totally could see her doing that. And then needle pointing. She's such a crafty person. Like I could see her being that kind of influencer.
Yeah.
Did you see the interview with Selena and Benny were talking about how they found she like unpacked some
The
stuff from her.
painting.
Yeah, and he was like, "This is the most beautiful. Who did this? This is the most beautiful art I've ever seen." And of course, it was freaking Taylor.
So multi-talented. I'm like, how can you can bake, you can paint, you can draw, you can like write,
Yeah.
perform, sing. It's never ending. I feel like every single year we discover a new talent that she has. She directs too. Like she's probably gonna do a movie at some point. Who knows?
Yeah.
Multi-talented.
Yeah.
Like truly, truly. I think one of the things that's really cool for me now is like an older Swiftie is that so like you when I became a Swiftie, I was younger. I think I was like 18 or 19 when I first heard Tim McGraw. And now I have two little girls.
Aw.
And it's really, really cool when my oldest is like, is this Taylor Swift? Or when I see them dancing to like Shake It Off.
Yeah.
For you, who has now gone to like so many Eras tours and you've been able to see this in real life, like moms and their daughters, what has that been like? And what do you think Taylor would think of that like full circle moment between like a mom Swiftie and like her daughter Swiftie?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's so cute. I'm so happy that through the Eras Tour documentary, it seems like Taylor understands, like she grasps the level of what the Eras Tour was and also the level of like how many mothers and daughters have bonded through her and her music. Like I think she understands it, which is so great. And I mean, because of how close she is with her mom, I'm sure it brings her so much joy to know that she's been able to bring so many generations of people together. And it's not only moms, it's also dads and their daughters too, with the football crossover. And I know people who went with all three generations. It was the grandma, the mom, and the kids. Like, that's so beautiful to be able to bring that many people together. And because of the Taylor's versions, it's awesome to see how the same albums that like raised me, raised you, you know, our generations, your generation's kids are now going to grow up with those same albums because she brought them back. And so it's almost like it's just happening all over again, which is, I think, how the fandom just exploded the last few years. So and I know for me, like my mom, it's been like my mom and I's thing since the very beginning. It's something I don't know, I don't think we would be as close as we are had we not had that to bring us together all the time. And it's something we both love and love talking about, and going to shows. It's tradition now, and we can't even calculate how many moms and daughters and dads and daughters she has bonded. It's an enormous amount.
I am so excited for one day, for maybe not excited about this, but I feel like All Too Well is still that song that like got through so many people through like a heartbreak season.
Yeah.
And I'm so curious if that's going to be like the song that my daughters turn to in those
Yeah.
moments.
Yep. I think, every single human being on the planet, woman or man, could relate to that song at some
Yeah.
point in their life.
Yeah. Nothing captures heartbreak like that song.
No. And I'm so grateful that Taylor let it slip one time that there was a 10-minute version, because then all of us on Tumblr endlessly begged for it. And that's
Uh-huh.
what led to its release. So
Do you think she did that intentionally way back then?
honestly, no. I think she was just chatting with the fan backstage, and like the fan was talking about All Too Well, and then Taylor said something along the lines of like, "Oh my God, that song, like it was longer at first. It was like 10 minutes, like making it like a joke. And then once the fan told the rest of the fans about that, we just kept talking about it. And I don't think Taylor expected us to latch onto it the way we did. It's nice that she's very in tune with what we want.
She listens.
She
She
listens.
does.
You know what? I'm going to tell you a fun story about that song really fast. When I
Yeah.
met her at Rep Room, I brought my sister with me.
Okay.
And the thing I talked to her about was like, I thanked her for bringing me and my sister so much closer together. And I told her that we used to sing, or that we still do sing All Too Well together at the top of our lungs. And it's like our sisterly song. And she sang it that night.
Oh, and wait, did you meet her before? You met her
I
before
met
the
her
show?
before the show, and then that was the surprise
Oh my
song that
God.
night.
See, she does things, she would do things like that all the time, and it's so thoughtful.
Like, right?
Like,
I
that's
know,
so
like maybe
great.
it wasn't the plan, but I'm gonna say it was. It
I
was like
think
for
there's a
me.
pretty good chance that she did that for you guys, for sure.
Right? Like,
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
I love
That's so
her.
cool.
Oh, okay. I will say, I have to admit, I was not a Swiftie. I appreciated Taylor. I saw her from afar and thought, she's fun. Like I love that her fans love her so much. And I didn't really get it until I met Katie. And
Yeah.
Katie like really just, gave me the elevator pitch. And I was like, okay, I'm like into this now.
Yeah.
And I just think you can't help but become a Swiftie once you get a taste of it. Like, why not? Why wouldn't you want to be? It's like the most positive, wonderful, sparkly environment ever. But what do you think is the biggest misconception people have about Swifties?
People on the outside tend to think we're crazy. Honestly, to put it plainly, they're like, Swifties, they're so crazy. You know what? At least they know that we are like diehard fans. They
Yeah.
definitely know that. I just think they're like, oh my God, they're so obsessed. They're so annoying. Like, they don't get it. So that's what I think the outsiders think, but they're missing out on so much joy and happiness and fun. All the Easter eggs, and when albums are dropping, we all come together the weeks before, and it's like all the Swifties that are pretty quiet during the breaks just suddenly all come out of their like hibernation, and it's so great, and it's so sad to hate on something like that brings so many people joy. So I would say as a fandom, we probably have the most haters on the outside, but I think it's because they're probably jealous. They're probably
Yeah.
jealous of all the fun we're having, and they look down on it. But in reality, if they just stepped into it a little bit and opened their minds, I think they would love it just as much.
Oh.
I agree.
Well,
Haters, man.
the
It's
Haters.
haters
sad.
gonna hate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and haters are fans too, because if they're spending that much time and energy thinking about you, you're doing something right.
Oh, so true.
Preach.
Wait, when do you think we're gonna get TS13?
I think this year we're gonna get debut Taylor's version for the 20th anniversary, and I think next year we will get TS13.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll ever get Reputation Taylor's version? Because she said when the time is right, but I don't know that the time ever is going to be right because I do think that album was just so
Perfect.
perfect.
It really was. I'm so happy she knows that now. Yeah, right. I have that shirt too.
Mhm.
I think I don't think she would have said that we would get them if at least the vault tracks, if she's not planning that on releasing them. I think she already has a plan as to when she's releasing them, truly. Even if it's 5 years from now, I think she knows exactly when she wants to release them. I think we're gonna get them. I don't know if we're gonna get the full Reputation Taylor's version album, but I would just be happy to get the vault
The vault
tracks because
tracks.
she literally teased them in
I
her
know.
Time Person of the Year interview a couple years ago and said the vault tracks are fire. So you're not going to say that if you don't ever plan on them seeing the light of day.
True, true. Okay.
We talk a little bit about Taylor's version. Did you cry when she announced that she got her music back?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You did. Okay. And did you cry? See, this is the thing. I'm not even as diehard as you guys, but when Taylor announced that she was getting married, I was in the newsroom and I just wept like a little baby. What do you think it is about Taylor that we feel so emotionally connected to her, where like her wins are our wins? Like we feel it in our cell, in our DNA.
Yeah.
What is different about her that you think makes us feel that like it's our own?
There's a chapter on this too, the parasocial relationship. We've always kind of had it with her, and I think the reason why we became so parasocial as a fandom is because in a way, she was parasocial with us too. When growing up, when she was on the rise and we started growing as a community, we were talking all the time on Tumblr, on MySpace, on Instagram. So I think we feel like we got to know her through that. Like, oh, she's a friend. We're talking on social media. And on top of that, how relatable her music is. Like, it's almost like she's the only person, the only artist for us that truly understands what's going on in our minds.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, she is a friend. She gets me so
Yeah.
much. And she's like a therapist. And so I think we see ourselves so much in her and her hopes and dreams. The fairy tale that she always wanted when she was singing at 18 years old is exactly what we would also dream about at when we were 18 or 12 or even 30. Like it doesn't really matter. We all want those happy endings and those feelings that she sings about. So I think when we see someone who's yearned for it for so long finally get it, we're like, oh my God, I'm so happy for her. She's been wanting it for so long, just as I have, and I hope it one day happens to me. Or maybe someone's like, oh my God, it happened to me a couple years ago, and I'm so happy it's finally her time because she's been wanting it for so long. So her wins really do feel like our wins, but also for those of us still waiting for those happy endings, we're like, oh my God, it's possible.
Yeah.
So
Gives us
That
hope.
gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
See, it's like even just talking about it gives me goosebumps. That is,
yeah,
no one else does that.
no other artist does that.
I asked you in our DMs if you were going to send this book to Taylor or to
Yeah.
Tree, and I'm curious, what do you think Taylor would feel if she were to read this book and all the stories in your book about how her music has impacted so many people?
Yeah, I mean, I really hope she reads it, and I hope that if she does, she knows that it's all like a love letter to her and the community she created and to all the lives she's touched. I hope that she reads it and remembers all the good times on Tumblr and stuff, because there's really no book that documents that part of our fandom from back in the day. A lot of the newer fans don't even know that that's how the fandom used to be with Taylor. Even though she's not on social media as much, it's nice to reminisce. Like, obviously, she knows she's changed all of our lives and we all love her and her music, but I think just seeing it on the page and seeing direct quotes from people is really my hope is that she just goes, wow, like I hope it hits her again. And I hope that it's a book that she can maybe one day pass down to her future children and they can read about the good old times, how things used to be, and our story from the beginning, and how her mom and dad changed so many lives.
I have a question for both of you.
Yeah,
Katie has interviewed everybody, but has not yet interviewed Taylor. That's her dream interview. So I
yeah.
know Katie has a laundry list of questions she would love to ask Taylor. I'm curious for both of you, if you could get one question answered from Taylor today, what would it be?
I think it always kind of changes. Right now, one question, that's
I
tough.
know.
I don't know. I kind of want to just know, like, girl, how do you do it all? Like,
Yeah.
do you ever, how do you sleep and come out with so many albums and music videos and tours and everything? How do you do it all and plan that far ahead while still taking care of yourself and your mental health and getting sleep and
Your
all
loved
of that?
ones, like your
Yeah.
family, and
How do you
your
balance it all?
friendships, and making
That's
bread.
I
yeah.
was literally just going to say, when does she squeeze in sourdough? Like, I just don't,
I don't
the
know.
math does not math.
No, it doesn't. So right now in this moment, when you ask that, that's the first thing that popped into my head. It might change tomorrow. There are so many things I would love to ask her. Yeah, Katie, what's yours?
I think I would ask her. I feel like Life of a Showgirl, for some reason, like wish list really like stood out to me. Like this is what she wants and this is what she views
Yeah,
as like happiness these days. And so I think I would ask her about like her evolution of happiness in her life
yeah.
and what that like does she feel like she's checked off all the boxes of things that like make her like truly, truly happy and just how that's changed from now and from like 2 decades
Yeah, that's a
ago,
great one. That's a great question.
you
I mean,
know?
she has so much wisdom because she's gone through so much life in her 36 years. And you're kind of right. I would love to sit down with her and say, tell me all the wisdom you have about life. Go.
Yeah, yeah. I also want to know if she has like a war room in one of her houses with like the red strings and like the Easter eggs and like here's the
Yeah.
release
Yeah.
date for this and here's the plan for this and here's when we're
Yeah.
gonna tease it here because I don't think it's like I mean her brain I know is like bigger than probably all of ours,
Yeah.
but I don't think you can like hold all of that. And so I wonder if there's like a room in there
Yeah.
that just
Yeah.
has it all.
Like in the movies. I could so see that. I also think she has an excellent team of people. I think it's a very small team, but I think she has an excellent team of people who hopefully help her keep track of that web.
Right. Would you ever work for Taylor Nation? Have you ever applied?
You can't really apply. That's something they have to come get you.
Mm.
Would I? Of
It's like the
course. I mean,
FBI.
I know. No one really knows who they are. Of course I would. If they asked, I would. But at the same time, I am an entrepreneur at heart and I love kind of being my own boss and doing my own thing. So if I had to sacrifice a little bit of freedom to work for Taylor Nation for a little while, I would do it.
Oh my
Does she
gosh.
still check your Instagram, do you think, often?
I've gone back and forth on this. Donna Kelce follows me, so I wouldn't be surprised if occasionally Donna sends her a funny post or something. So I don't know. I mean, she liked one of my posts around the life of a showgirl time on Instagram. I feel like she tailors maybe a little bit.
What do you think it means that Travis is returning for another NFL season? Do you think that ups or lowers our chances of ever getting a Taylor Swift Super Bowl halftime show?
I think one day we'll get a Taylor Swift Super Bowl halftime show. I don't think it's going to be next year now, because of Travis playing, and she's made it pretty clear that she
Yeah.
doesn't want to do that when he's playing. So I think maybe in the next few years she'll definitely do it. But I'm excited that he's coming back. I hope we get some Taylor walks down the tunnel
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I missed that a lot this year, and we barely got to see her at the games. And I know all the little girls who go to the games and like hope to get a glimpse of her. Like it's so joyful and sweet. And I know we all love seeing her head to toe outfit because she always, slays
So
that
good.
tunnel. So I hope she brings that back. That's really what I'm hoping for season 4 of Taywag.
Can I ask about the wedding? I
Yeah.
feel like there's so much speculation, so many fan theories. Some people are saying this summer.
I think it would make sense for it to be happening before he returns to training camp, which I think is in like late July, maybe. First of all, I don't think she would let her wedding date and information be leaked that way. If anything, maybe she planted it. I don't know. I think it would be so smart if she planted that and then did something else. I've heard rumors about different locations the wedding could happen at, but I never talk about those or post those because some of them are just like too close to the source. And yeah, I try to
Yeah.
stay away from that. I don't want to ever add to the gossip mill of social media.
Yeah. Good for
Yeah.
you. Good
Yeah,
for you.
seriously. Okay, we're gonna wrap up soon with a little fun rapid fire, but
Okay.
I feel like before we do, I just want to ask one more thing about the book and what you hope readers kind of take away from the story
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
us and the part of the book that makes you feel the most proud.
My favorite chapter, even though it's the shortest chapter, might be chapter 13. It's the last chapter in the book. I really wanted that one to stand out as like a different type of writing than the rest of the book. I wanted it to just be like an old storybook. You open up like once upon a time. And I tried to encapsulate our entire story in those few pages. So I think that's probably what I'm proudest about. And then the thing I want readers to take away from the book, I know I'm an Audible girl. I love listening to my books, but this book, I put so much thought and effort into making it a book that Swifties would want to have and hold and look at, especially with the number of illustrations in the book. I hope they go and buy the book in person and look through the illustrations and find all the little Easter eggs tucked away in them. And I hope they appreciate those illustrations just as much as I appreciated having the honor to work with Sion, who is in England, and she's a big Swiftie. I hope the Swifties love that.
Can I ask you one more thing really fast,
Yeah.
Easter egg wise? Okay, I love the song The Black Dog.
Yeah.
She said that and I think you talk about this in the book, that like we don't really understand the meaning of it.
Yeah.
What do you think it is?
I've thought about that. I mean, obviously, the black dog, it seems like she's talking about a bar, right? Isn't the black dog also a metaphor for like depression or something like that? So I don't know. I haven't gone that deep into that. I'm like waiting for the day that she just tells us. Maybe that'll be my one question if I ever meet her. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, right?
So
Or like,
so
will you
I
ever write a book about all and answer all of our questions?
I would love that. I would love to know about, I would love for her to solve all of the unanswered theories. I would love for her one day when she's old to write a tell-all memoir about her life being the most famous pop star on planet Earth.
Very Evelyn Hugo. Here's our fun rapid fire for you.
Okay.
What is your favorite Taylor Swift era?
Ooh, Reputation, because that was the time I met her, and it was post Snake cancellation gate, and
Uh-huh.
it felt like it was just her and the big, big fans who just stayed and never wavered.
Favorite Taylor Bridge.
The smallest man who ever lived. Hands
Oh,
down. I mean, that one, come on. It's so good. It's even my roommate and best friend who it doesn't call herself a Swiftie is like that bridge is insane.
were
So
you sent by
someone,
someone?
yeah. Yeah. I just picture the marching. Oh my God.
So
Yeah.
good. What is the saddest Taylor song?
It's gotta be the prophecy for me, or I hate it here. I think those are so sad
Yeah.
because she's like in the prophecy, she's like, did I mess up? Is the one not coming for me? Like she was like begging, truly begging for any ounce of hope. And then I hate it here is also just so sad because she's like so unhappy in real life and so she escapes in her mind. And I feel like we all go through times like that. The Tortured Poets Department, by the way, is my favorite album. So yeah.
Honestly, every listen, well, it changes for me every day. It depends on what my vibe is for the day, but it is up there for me. But then
Yeah.
sometimes I go back and I listen to Speak Now and I'm like, this is an excellent freaking album.
No, I do the same thing. I'll be on the plane, I'll put Red on. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot how good this is. Is the Tortured Poets my favorite? They're all so different. It's like you can't compare apples and oranges?
Yeah.
What about the most underrated album?
I think Reputation was for a long time. The general public even seems to have come around with that album.
I
I
think it's like
know
her
people.
best.
Yeah, I mean, people who aren't Swifties have told me they like that album. So, but it used to be like very hated on during the time it came out. everyone was like, look what you made me do. That's awful. It's so dark. And like, I don't think people appreciated it until later on. So I would say probably that album.
I secretly want her to release Taylor's version and then submit it again for the Grammys.
It deserves it.
Is that
Yes.
weird?
I hope she does that.
Do you think she hears us talking and like gets not us, but like, do you think she
Yeah.
hears fans and like what they want?
Absolutely. I think there's even been times where we say certain things. Oh my God, that's an Easter egg, and it totally wasn't, but she runs with it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, what is a lyric that every Swiftie has to know?
Ooh. What if he's written mine on my upper thigh? I love Guilty as Sin is one of my all-time favorite songs of hers. I would say that's actually one of her most underrated songs. Any lyric from that song, I think every Swiftie should know. I think every Swiftie should listen to that song with the idea that it might be one of her all-time best songs. Do you guys like that song?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I like
Yeah.
almost all the songs, but
There's
yes,
not a bad one. And then of course, like Long Live All the Magic We Made.
truly
Like,
magic.
A Taylor song that perfectly describes motherhood.
Ooh. Maybe
hard
the
one.
best day is her talking about her mom. It's a love letter to her mom. So I think even though it's like opposite perspective, it's a really cute song about a bond between a mother and daughter. All mothers should listen to that song and want that kind of relationship with their kid.
Olivia, thank you so much for all the time. For those listening, go check out her book. It is out April 14th. It is called The Story of Us: How the Taylor Swift Fandom Changed Our Lives. The book is magic. Taylor Swift is magic. Follow her accounts. They will keep you up to date on all things Taylor. And remember, as we like to say here, motherhood is a sisterhood. And so
Yeah.
is being a Swiftie.
Thanks for hanging out with us on Between Us Moms.
Don't forget to follow us for more mom content and good conversations on all the socials.
We're also on Substack and have a newsletter filled with tips, tea, meal ideas, and mom stuff you won't want to miss.
And we've got a secret Facebook group to connect and talk even more.
Go find us.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.